Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Take a moment with me right now to just breathe. Deep breath in and out. Really feel the air filling your lungs, then slowly releasing, taking with it any tightness or knots you might be holding in your shoulders, your jaw, your mind. Let go of whatever tension, whatever burden, whatever lingering thought might be clinging to you from the moment before this. Just for this time, allow yourself to be fully present. Because in a world that often feels like it's spinning far too fast, demanding constant highs, relentless productivity, perpetual optimism, and almost performative positivity that can feel utterly exhausting, it can be incredibly isolating, even terrifying, to admit even to yourself when you're truly, genuinely struggling. We're constantly inundated with messages that tell us to just be happy, to look on the bright side, to shake it off with a forced smile. But what if it's not that simple? What if the very act of shaking it off only pushes the real, raw emotions deeper, where they can fester and grow in the dark? We're bombarded daily, relentlessly, with highlight reels on social media, the perfectly filtered vacations, the enviable career milestones, the effortlessly stylish outfits, the seemingly flawless relationships. We see the curated success stories of entrepreneurs who built empires overnight, the seemingly perfect lives of influencers whose daily existence appears to be a perpetual state of joy, and the meticulously edited best versions of everyone's daily existence, carefully cropped to exclude any hint of imperfection or difficulty. This constant digital parade creates an insidious, suffocating pressure to always be on, to always be thriving, to always be ascending, to always be achieving some new peak. We start to believe that struggle is a personal failing, a sign that we're not doing enough, or worse, that we are not enough. But what about the messy, the uncomfortable, the undeniably human parts of life that don't fit neatly into an Instagram square? What about the moments when the weight of the world, or even just the crushing weight of your own thoughts and anxieties, feels like an unbearable, suffocating, crushing burden that steals your breath? It's in those quiet, often hidden, private spaces, the sleepless nights, the moments of profound doubt, the hollow silence after a loss, that we frequently find ourselves locked in a silent internal wrestling match with an opponent many are afraid to name, let alone acknowledge, even to their closest confidants: despair. It's not a fleeting sadness, it's a profound sense of hopelessness, a feeling that the light has gone out or was never even there. It's a universal adversary that touches every soul. Yet we often feel utterly, heartbreakingly alone in its presence, as if we are the only ones grappling with such darkness. It's this very feeling, this profound human condition, that Professor Cornel West, a brilliant American philosopher, theologian, author, and activist, encapsulated so profoundly and perfectly in one concise yet deeply resonant statement. A statement that, once you truly hear it, you can never unhear, for it speaks directly to the core of our shared existence. He said, "To live is to wrestle with despair, yet never allow despair to have the last word." Just sit with that for a moment. Truly absorb it. Let the words sink into your bones, into the very core of your being. To live is to wrestle with despair. Notice the deliberate framing of this statement. He doesn't say, to live if you're unlucky is to wrestle with despair, implying it's a rare misfortune reserved for a select few. He doesn't say, to live if you make bad choices is to wrestle with despair, suggesting it's a punishment for your own errors. No, he frames it as an inherent, undeniable, unavoidable, fundamental part of the human experience. It's a non-negotiable aspect of sentience, of consciousness, of being alive and engaged with the world. It means that if you're alive, if you're breathing, if you're capable of feeling and thinking, then you are, by definition, in the ring. You are grappling with it. You are wrestling with it. You are locked in a struggle, whether you acknowledge its presence or not, whether you name it or not. This isn't the problem to be fixed like a broken appliance. It's a condition to be understood, accepted, and navigated with courage. It's the price of admission to this intricate, beautiful, terrifying, and profoundly meaningful journey called life. It means that the very act of existing is an act of ongoing engagement with the full spectrum of human emotion, including its darkest shades. Think about your own life, about the countless moments you've faced, or the lives you see around you, the struggles whispered in hushed tones or played out silently behind closed doors. We wrestle with the despair of profound, gut-wrenching loss, the hollow ache and bottomless grief when someone we love fiercely is no longer physically with us, leaving a void that seems not just difficult, but truly impossible to fill. The sudden silence, the absence that screams louder than any presence. We wrestle with the despair of repeated crushing failure, the stinging disappointment of a cherished dream deferred for too long, a business venture that collapsed despite years of dedication, an academic goal unmet after tireless study, or a creative project that, despite pouring your heart and soul into it, just didn't pan out, didn't resonate, didn't find its audience. That feeling of not being good enough, of having fallen short, can be a heavy cloak. And then there's the despair of systemic injustice, witnessing the crushing, dehumanizing weight of inequality, the senseless cruelty inflicted by humans upon one another, the irreversible environmental degradation that threatens our shared future, or the bitter, seemingly insurmountable political polarization in the world that feels too immense, too deeply entrenched, too tragically complex to ever truly, fundamentally change. We see images of suffering children. We read headlines of war and displacement. We hear stories of exploitation and prejudice. And sometimes the sheer scale of human suffering and the perceived inability to impact it can feel utterly paralyzing, draining us of hope and initiative. This isn't just personal pain, it's a collective ache, a despair for the state of the world, a profound weariness from the constant battle against forces larger than any individual. And beyond these external battles, these tangible griefs and disappointments, we wrestle fiercely with the even more insidious despair of self-doubt, that persistent, often merciless inner voice whispering that we're not enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough of love, of success, of happiness. It's the voice that dissects every perceived flaw, amplifies every mistake, and undermines every confidence. We wrestle with the quiet, pervasive anxiety that gnaws at us, the feeling of not belonging, of being an imposter. And then there's the existential dread that sometimes creeps in during the quiet, solitary hours of the night, the sheer mind-boggling vastness of the universe, the terrifying brevity of our own undeniable mortality, the profound, unanswerable search for inherent meaning and enduring purpose in what can often feel like a chaotic, indifferent, random existence. This wrestle, this internal and external grappling, isn't a sign of weakness, quite the opposite, in fact. It's a profound testament to your incredible capacity for feeling, for empathy, for engagement with life's full spectrum. It means you're alive. You're feeling deeply. You're engaged with the raw, unfiltered, often painful, but ultimately authentic reality of being. It's not just a challenge to be overcome, it's the very cost of admission to this intricate, complex, and profoundly meaningful journey called life. It signifies that you are not passive, but an active participant in the human drama. But here's where the profound power, the incredible, undeniable, revolutionary hope in West's statement truly unfurls itself, blossoming in the face of all that darkness, yet never allow despair to have the last word. This isn't about denying despair's existence. It's not about ignoring the pain, suppressing the sadness, or slapping on a fake smile and pretending everything's perfectly fine, forcing yourself into a state of relentless, saccharine optimism that feels both inauthentic and utterly exhausting. That's what we call toxic positivity. And it's not only unhelpful in the long run, it's actively harmful because it invalidates genuine pain, shame, and struggle, pushing them further underground where they gain strength in silence. No, this isn't about avoidance. This is about acknowledging the battle, feeling the genuine blows that life inevitably delivers, enduring the struggle with open eyes and an open heart, and then, with every fiber of your being, with a deliberate, radical act of profound courage, choosing to stand up again, choosing to speak a new word into the silence, choosing to write the very next sentence, the very next paragraph, the very next chapter of your story, even if your hand trembles. It's an assertion of agency, a declaration of defiance against the narrative that despair tries to impose. Because despair, by its very nature, by its very design, tries to be absolute. It tries to convince you that this is it, that there's no way out, no light at the end of the long tunnel, no possibility of redemption, no point in trying, no possibility of change, no reason to hope. It whispers the most insidious, soul-crushing lies directly into your ear. You're stuck forever. There's no escaping this. You're completely alone. No one understands. No one cares. It's utterly hopeless, so why even bother? Just give up. And if we internalize those whispers, if we surrender to their persuasive, suffocating narrative, if we allow them to become our truth, despair will absolutely, definitively have the last word. It will succeed in silencing our authentic voices, paralyzing our actions, dimming our spirits until they are barely a flicker, until all that remains is a suffocating emptiness. It will become the unchallenged author of our final scene, writing an ending we never truly chose. This is the danger we actively push back against.
So the crucial question becomes, how do we not allow it to have the last word? How do we reclaim our narrative, our power, and our agency in the face of such a formidable adversary? It starts, fundamentally, with a radical act of self-awareness and acceptance. Recognize that the wrestle is real. Recognize that the pain, the frustration, the fear, the anger, the numbness, these are valid, legitimate responses to the human condition. Acknowledge them, feel them, give them space, even if just for a moment, to simply be, without judgment, without trying to push them away or analyze them to death. Understand that suppressing these legitimate feelings doesn't magically make them disappear. It just gives them more insidious, hidden power in the shadows, where they can fester, grow, and erupt unexpectedly beneath the surface, often in destructive ways. This initial acceptance is the first step out of the cage of denial. Once you've acknowledged it, once you've named the opponent, once you've allowed yourself to feel the weight of the struggle, then and only then can you begin the vital counter-wrestle, the deliberate, conscious, courageous act of asserting something else, the act of choosing a different response. And this something else, this powerful, defiant next word, can take on a multitude of forms, each vital in its own right, each a brick in the foundation of your resilience. It's not one grand gesture, but a million tiny acts of rebellion against despair's dominion.
First, and crucially, it's about choosing action over inaction. Despair thrives on paralysis. It tells you that any effort is futile, that any movement is pointless, that sitting still in the darkness is the only logical response. But when you feel utterly overwhelmed, when the weight of everything threatens to immobilize you, remember that the smallest, most seemingly insignificant step forward,
Any forward momentum at all can be a monumental act of defiance against despair's grip. Don't underestimate the power of tiny incremental steps. Can't tackle the entire overwhelming project that looms before you like a mountain? Commit to just one small task, however tiny, however seemingly insignificant. Break it down until it feels manageable. Feeling profoundly isolated and disconnected from the world? Send just one text message to a friend, make one brief phone call, or simply step outside for 5 minutes and feel the sun on your face or the wind in your hair. Overwhelmed by the vastness of global news or systemic problems that feel beyond your control? Focus on one small, actionable way you can contribute, even if it's just educating yourself further on a topic, having a meaningful conversation with someone who holds a different perspective, or making a single, symbolic small donation to a cause you believe in. Remember that ancient proverb, a profound truth echoed across cultures. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Each deliberate step, no matter how small, no matter how shaky, no matter how uncomfortable, is a word spoken loudly against despair's suffocating silence. It's a powerful statement. I am still moving. I am still here. I am still participating. It's proof of your ongoing existence and agency.
Second, it's about cultivating resilience as an active muscle, not a passive trait. Resilience isn't about never falling down. That's an impossible and unrealistic expectation, a myth perpetuated by a culture that shies away from struggle. True resilience is about how quickly, how thoughtfully, and how creatively you choose to get back up after a fall. It's about the learning that occurs in the midst of the experience of falling. What did this moment of wrestling, this encounter with despair, teach you about yourself that you didn't know before? What previously hidden resources, internal strengths, external supports, newfound perspectives, did you discover within your own spirit or within your support network that you didn't even know you possessed until you were pushed to your limits? Every setback, every moment of grappling with profound difficulty, every emotional bruise is an often painful but ultimately invaluable opportunity to strengthen your mental and emotional fortitude, to expand your capacity for endurance, to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. It's in the breaking that we often find new ways to piece ourselves back together. Not perfectly, not without scars, but stronger, more uniquely ourselves, and perhaps more compassionate towards others. It's like a bone that heals stronger at the break point. Your spirit can too. Third, actively find and lean into your deepest sense of purpose. Despair often operates by stripping us of meaning, making everything feel pointless, hollow, and utterly devoid of significance. When you feel purposeless, when your days blur into an indistinguishable gray, every effort feels heavier, every struggle more daunting, every joy more fleeting. Your purpose doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing, publicly acclaimed mission that makes headlines or earns you awards. It can be found in small, consistent acts of meaning, imbued with your unique values, being a truly present and compassionate friend, mastering a craft or a new skill that brings you joy or challenges you intellectually, continuously learning and expanding your mind through reading or exploration, contributing positively to your local community in ways big or small, raising a family with profound love and intentionality, or advocating passionately for a cause you deeply believe in, no matter how niche. When you have a strong, clear why, a reason that transcends your immediate pain and looks beyond your immediate self, you can endure almost anyhow. Your purpose becomes the enduring, resonant melody against despair's jarring, dissonant chord. The reason you keep picking up your instrument, even when the music feels hard to make. It is the compass that guides you through the fog. Fourth, prioritize and actively seek genuine human connection. Despair thrives on isolation. It wants to convince you that you're the only one feeling this way, that your pain is unique and therefore unshareable, that revealing your vulnerability will only lead to judgment or further rejection. But the profound truth is, the wrestle is universal. It's an inherent, shared part of the human condition. You are never
ever truly alone in this struggle, reach out. Talk to a trusted friend, a compassionate family member, a wise mentor, or a qualified therapist or counselor who can offer professional guidance and a safe space. Consider joining a support group or a community, online or in person, where others understand and share similar struggles, where you can find validation and solidarity. Sharing your authentic struggle, giving voice to your internal battle, lightens the load and reminds you that you are part of a larger human tapestry, intricately woven with countless others facing their own challenges, each thread supporting the next. In connection, we find shared strength, shared wisdom, shared empathy, and the undeniable, palpable power of shared hope. We realize that our wounds, when shared, can become sources of connection, not division. We realize we are not alone. We are part of something vast and resilient.
Fifth, practice radical self-compassion. We are often our own harshest, most relentless critics, internalizing the impossible standards of the world and judging ourselves mercilessly. When you are wrestling with despair, when you feel you're failing, when the inner critic is particularly loud, it is absolutely crucial to treat yourself with the same profound kindness, understanding, and patience you would undoubtedly offer a struggling friend, a beloved child, or even a cherished pet. Give yourself explicit permission to not be okay. It's all right not to be all right. Allow for moments of rest, for necessary breaks, for simply existing without pressure to perform or fix anything immediately. Celebrate the smallest victories, the tiny acts of courage that go unnoticed by anyone but you. Forgive yourself for perceived shortcomings, for mistakes, for moments of weakness or vulnerability. Self-compassion is the gentle, nurturing, insistent voice that whispers, "You are worthy of care, worthy of kindness, worthy of understanding, worthy of love, even and especially in this moment of struggle. You are doing your best given what you're facing, and that truly, genuinely is enough." It's about accepting your imperfect, beautiful, struggling human self. Sixth, cultivate gratitude, even and perhaps especially in the shadows. This might sound completely counterintuitive when you're feeling low, when despair feels like a physical weight on your chest. It's not about ignoring the pain, but about expanding your field of vision. But focusing consciously on what you do have, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, can create tiny shimmering cracks in despair's seemingly impenetrable armor, allowing small shafts of light to pierce through. A warm cup of coffee on a cold morning, a ray of sun breaking through the clouds after days of rain, a kind word from a stranger, the simple ability to breathe and witness the world in all its complex beauty. These small, conscious moments of gratitude don't magically erase the pain or the struggle. They don't solve your problems instantly, but they remind you that beauty and goodness, however fleeting, still exist. They offer a tangible pathway back to appreciating life's subtle, persistent gifts, and they are a powerful affirmation of life itself, a quiet but firm declaration against the void. It's choosing to see the flicker, even in the darkest night. Ultimately, Cornel West's quote is not a naive call to conquer despair once and for all, to banish it from your life permanently, to achieve some mythical state of absolute imperviousness. That's an unrealistic fantasy, a futile and exhausting pursuit. Instead, it's a profound, deeply practical call to engage with it, to acknowledge its undeniable presence, to understand its insidious tactics, to feel its weight, and then, with conscious, persistent, courageous effort, to fundamentally refuse its finality. It's a continuous, dynamic process, an ongoing dance between shadow and light, ebb and flow. Some days, the wrestle will feel lighter, easier,
almost graceful, like a well-choreographed movement. Some days, it will feel like you're barely holding on, every fiber of your being strained to its absolute limit, a raw, primal struggle. And that, I want you to know, is perfectly, undeniably okay. That is part of the human journey. That is part of the process. You are not failing simply because you are struggling. The true victory isn't in never feeling despair. That's an impossible fight, one you were never meant to win, absolutely. The victory, the triumph of the human spirit, is in the consistent, courageous, unwavering act of not letting despair define you, not letting it silence your unique voice, not letting it dictate your future path, not letting it decide who you are or what you can achieve. It's in the profound choice made every single day, sometimes every single minute, to find a reason to persevere, a reason to grow beyond your current circumstances, a reason to hope against all odds, and a reason to contribute your unique light, your unique perspective, your unique gifts to the world. Think of despair not as an immovable mountain, but as a powerful, formidable opponent that comes and goes, sometimes lurking in the periphery, a dark shadow, sometimes directly in your face, a crushing weight. But you are the reigning champion of your own narrative. You hold the pen that writes the story of your life. You control the microphone that projects your voice into the world. You are the ultimate storyteller of your existence. When despair whispers its insidious, soul-crushing lies, this is the end, you're broken beyond repair, there's no point in trying anymore, you choose to roar back with quiet conviction or with thunderous defiance. No, this is not the end. This is just the beginning of a new chapter, a new lesson, a new path forward. My story is still being written, and I am the author of my fate, the master of my soul. You reclaim your power, one word at a time. Your life is not, and never will be, defined solely by the moments you fall, by the depths of the despair you experience. It is profoundly defined by the immeasurable courage you find to rise again, each time with a little more wisdom, a little more strength, a little more empathy. It's defined by the love you extend to yourself and to others, the invaluable lessons you learn from hardship, the incredible resilience you painstakingly build brick by brick, and the enduring, defiant hope you choose to carry, even when it feels like the heaviest burden imaginable. This hope isn't naive, it's a chosen act of will. It's a fire you tend in the darkness.
Thank you for spending this valuable time with me today, for opening your heart and mind to this conversation, for allowing yourself to sit with these profound truths. If this message resonated deeply with you, if it offered even a flicker of light, a moment of understanding, or a spark of renewed courage, please hit that like button. Share it with someone who might desperately need to hear this message right now, who might be wrestling silently in their own corner of the world. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more conversations like this, designed to help us navigate the complexities of life with greater intention, deeper meaning, and unwavering hope. Until next time, remember Cornel West's profound wisdom. Keep wrestling, keep growing, keep learning, keep loving, and most importantly, keep choosing your powerful, hopeful last word. You are capable of more than you know.